All right, we are getting connected. Sweet. On a little early today. That's okay. I'm usually late, so I'll take it. Give us a minute to get some people on. But yeah, we're gonna. A couple of things happening today that I'm excited to talk about. Somebody's playing. I don't know if you guys can hear that. Somebody's playing some music outside. It's probably some Mexican music, and actually that happens a lot here. Got a lot of neighbors who like to do fun things outside. I think it's great, man. I don't have anything against it. You know, live in Texas, Austin, Texas, man. We got good weather here. Take advantage of it. I need to spend more time outside for sure. Now, the interesting thing is I'm connected on 4 platforms, right? So Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and Twitch. But only 3 of them show up in my little thing now. I think it's Twitter. Yeah, Twitter doesn't show up on it. So I don't know whether or not I'm actually connected to Twitter. I'd have to actually go there and check it out. Let me try that. It says I'm online on Twitter. Cool. But yeah, so we're just gonna give it another minute, see if we get some people on. Some people on board. Does it show? It doesn't show here. You don't need to be playing this. When we get a couple viewers on, we'll get going. Couple of viewers. It's always funny watching this captioning service screw up a little bit. Toys. It's always funny. It is funny. Well, I think just man, you know what I need? Man, I need to get. I don't have the money for it, but I need to get like just a mediocre gaming PC, just like something used, so I can just like have something on. So like I can just like have something on screen while I'm talking, just so something people have something to watch. It's been a long time since I've played video games. God, the new Metroid Dread looks so good. No, but let's dive into the topic though. Yeah, so today is Friday, October 15th. It is a special day, special weekend in a couple different ways. There's a lot going on. There's a lot happening. So today specifically is the general strike, hashtag general strike. And so we got millions of Americans across the country in solidarity. And this is, of course, building on top of so many other strikes that have been happening around the country. I tweeted about it, I think, last week. I tweeted the Breaking Points video. Of course, John Deere, the workers there just started a big strike. We're now seeing it happen at McDonald's, on top of all the others that have been striking. A bunch of coal miners and I think Kellogg's employees. There are a lot, but I love it. This is great. Actually, I think this is what needs to happen. I tweeted about this today, posted this today on social media, that like we are kind of relearning the power of collective action, right? So we didn't have that before, or I don't want to say we didn't have that before. We used to be much more familiar with that, and now in more recent history we kind of lost it. But I think now we are relearning that importance, and so and standing together, and there's been the pandemic combined with the government response to the pandemic has certainly been a catalyst for that. On top of all the things the corporations are doing that caused people to strike in the first place, but these kind of extra things that really kind of lit the fire and got it all going. And like, dude, I love this. This is great. We absolutely need better working conditions, better wages, better benefits, healthcare, all these things. However, I also want to point out that I don't know how sustainable this is, mostly because of technology. There's a quote I heard very recently, that technology has separated the ruling class from the worker class or the labor class. It's totally isolated them from anything that has to do with what actually keeps them comfortable. And so they're just unaware of it, right? There's kind of this wall's been put up, and in a way that it sounds a lot like an echo chamber, which all of us on social media are experiencing, are echo chambers. Even though some of us who aren't on social media are dealing with echo chambers. But what was I gonna say? I don't know how sustainable this is. Not just because it goes in waves. Not just because technology and automation is replacing a lot of labor, but let's take a look at the statistics. February 2020, so before the pandemic really started up, half the country did not work for a wage. I went into those labor statistics and I did the math, and depending on how you count, depending on whether or not you include different groups of people, it was between something like 45 and 54% of Americans did not work for a wage at the time. And of course that has dropped significantly since. And we lost 700,000 people, and millions more have become disabled from COVID. That's a thing a lot of people look over. It's not just you live or you die. There have been huge amounts of disability from it, and that's been incredibly devastating. So we've also lost a lot of workforce, which has actually given the workforce the power to negotiate for better wages. This is actually not the first time. This is actually how capitalism started, so to speak, or the first seeds of capitalism were sown. This was back in Europe. The Black Plague killed a third of Europe, and now all of a sudden there weren't enough workers to go around, and so now laborers had the ability to bargain for better wages, to bargain for wages at all, and actually had negotiating power, and so that was the beginning of the transition from feudalism to capitalism, and we are seeing a mirror of that right now, right? So there aren't enough able-bodied workers anymore, able-bodied laborers, I should say, and a pandemic has wiped out, because the pandemic has wiped out so many laborers, whether through death or disability. Now the laborers who remain have more power to bargain for better wages. But again, coming back to the point I was making is I don't know how sustainable this is because of technology, which is a different factor this time. And so that's where the freedom dividend comes in, right? Universal basic income, unconditional basic income. This is vital because, as I said before, half the country does not work for a wage, and a minimum wage raise isn't going to help a lot of those folks. There are many folks who are stuck on fixed incomes that are not enough. We are seeing Social Security is bumping up by the greatest amount that it ever has in terms of percentage, just because of the weird fluctuations and like the inflation, consumer price index, because it's been all over the place. So the question is, all right, cool, they're getting a boost, but how effective is it? Because things are more expensive. So like that's happening, but it needs to be way more. And so an unconditional basic income that stacks with current conditional welfare, or I don't want to say conditional welfare, that stacks with things like Social Security, whether it's retirement benefits or disability insurance, stacks with rental assistance, stacks with state benefits, stacks with Medicare, Medicaid. Like that is absolutely vital, and that is what's really going to give people power. One of the things that we've seen is union busting, right? That technology today is being used in a sort of unprecedented way to bust unions that we've never really been able to see before. And so it is important that, as much as I'm talking about the collective power, individual power is also important. It's both and an unconditional basic income gives people power to say no. To say no to the things they don't want and say yes to the things that they do. And so I just find this incredibly vital. And this is the thing that we need to be fighting for, which of course is what my platform is about. But there's more that's happening today. So today is the first time I am participating in a collective fast for peace, monthly fast for peace. So this was part of last month I had on Brian from Phoenix Congress or something, but he was talking about the American Union to end poverty, the war on drugs, and the endless wars, and this really cool plan to make that happen. And one of the tools that they're using is a monthly fast for peace on the 15th of every month. And this I found really interesting. There are a lot of reasons to fast, it turns out. For me, it is that it is a free, simple, collective act of solidarity. And it's all those words are really important in there. So most people can participate in a fast. There are a few people who, for health reasons, can't or are limited, and it's okay to make exceptions. It is something that you decide to do for yourself, right? It is something that you have to take initiative on. It creates this collective sense of suffering that, like, okay, we are doing this together. That is vital for me, that it is collective. All the other reasons to fast don't really appeal to me. I wouldn't fast outside of medical necessity, right, for like a blood draw or something. I wouldn't just do it on my own. I'm doing it because others are doing it. I'm doing it together with other people, to help to foster a more communal way of thinking about our issues and our suffering, and the importance of being together in these actions and in fighting for peace and for a better world. Because I can't do this alone. None of us can do this alone. We have to do this together. That's so vital. And so this is the first time I've ever fasted for this long before. I've still got 5 hours to go. And I'm hungry, but I can do it. I've no doubt in my ability, but it was so interesting because Brian had messaged me, and he was, just like a checking in thing. He said he had already started his fast, hoping that mine would go well. And I messaged back and I was like, actually I'm a little bit nervous about the fast, but I think that's a good thing because that means it's real. that like this isn't some like fake showy thing. Like this is an actual thing that I'm doing, um, and I hope that it helps. I hope that it helps me to understand something, understand this more and appreciate it more and have a better, just thinking, just really coming at this with a new attitude, which I am, um, I think it is important, and I think if we can get more people on board, it could be really powerful. And just the parallel of like the historical example of Gandhi, and how Gandhi used collective fasting as a way to build solidarity among people to fight for something better, and it worked. I mean, that was the crazy thing is that it worked, is that the people is that once the fasting got the people together, the fasting got the people to act together, and then through that collective, and then I think what happened was they ended up arresting so many. They were all performing an illegal action. I can't remember the details, but something about a beach or whatever. But they were all performing it together, so much so that there wasn't enough room in the jails, and the colonizers, the Britons, ended up having to actually negotiate with them and grant freedom and independence. And so that's why we call it the freedom dividend, right? It is a different kind of freedom. It is the freedom to actually live your life, which of course, I had another conversation about rights recently too on the live stream about what is a right, how do we define rights, and so like the right to life I think is vital, and that's actually one of the things that's like it's my biggest reason that I'm into the freedom dividend is it guarantees your right to life. And I think that is just absolutely vital, recognizing that in the 21st century, we no longer live in a zero-sum world. We live in a positive-sum world. We have the abundance. We have enough to go around for everybody, at least in this country. And we have the ability to guarantee everybody's basic needs. And the simplest way to do it in this country, at least in terms of the first step, is an unconditional basic income, which is what the freedom dividend is about. It's about a lot of things, but that's one of the things. So that's what's happening today. General strike going on, as well as I am fasting. And I encourage you to join me next month if you haven't done it this month. You just go to fastforpeace.com, I think. Fastforpeace.com. I'll throw that in the chat here. But that's not actually, you can go to anamericanunion.com. You can learn more about their particular use of fasting as well. But also, there's another exciting thing that is happening, which is that tomorrow I'm going to be on a panel. So there is a person, Bo Copley, who ran for U.S. Senate in West Virginia for the 2020 elections, and so he ran for the Republican nomination. I believe, he did lose, but he's an evangelical rural Republican, and there was a New York City Democrat who filmed a documentary about the whole campaign and about Bo. And so I'm actually going to be watching that documentary tonight, and then tomorrow, in partnership with Waging Dialogue, I'm going to be on a question and answer panel with Bo to talk about the challenges of campaigning as a sort of an underdog and as an unknown person, and what that's like. Of course, as y'all know, I do not have a district yet. I've been campaigning for nearly a year, for about 11 months now, without a district. And so, when that gets sorted out, which would be great. But here's the link. I'm throwing it in the chat right now, where you can sign up. Throw a little donation. It's pay what you can. A little donation. Watch the documentary. Join us on the Q&A tomorrow. That is at 3 p.m. Central. So I guess that'd be 4 p.m. Eastern. and 1 p.m. Pacific. Or if you're Mountain Time, I guess that's 2 p.m. But so I'm super excited about this. We've been planning this for a while, but it's gonna be it's only available to stream today and tomorrow. They've been streaming it for about 10 days already, but today and tomorrow are the last days. So make sure you watch it. Like I said, I'm gonna watch it tonight, probably right after this, actually. So I'm super excited about that. Another thing that is going on, yes, it's not over yet. This morning, I posted up a follow-up to my ranked choice voting TikTok series. So I did the one on approval voting. I posted that today on TikTok and YouTube. You can find that on my Twitter. I posted recently, but I have the TikTok link, and then I also upload it to my personal YouTube channel. So if you're watching on YouTube right now, you are watching on my campaign channel, which is different. And actually, I'm trying to think. Actually, I can just put the link to that. I know that one by heart. YouTube.com/C/Sass in your class. Here, we're gonna try this. We're gonna try 2 different links. We'll try that one, and then I think they actually will both work. Yeah, so you can go there. You can see it's the latest video I just uploaded, and so that's really cool. And so the star voting one is in the works. I have recorded the lines. I've recorded all the video, but I just got to edit it all together. So like go watch that. It's 3 minutes. It's super cool, but I'm really excited about the star voting one, especially. It's going to be a 2-parter, and I'll be posting both parts at the same time. And I think it's gonna be really, really great. And so I think that's everything. Today is the general strike live stream that's happening right now. Freedom dividend, tying that in. Q&A with Bo. Fasting, and the approval voting TikTok. So yeah, a lot of things happening. So definitely check all this stuff out. Of course, you can always message me either privately or publicly on social media, or go to voteforsass.com/connect, or just go to voteforsass.com and go to the connect tab. You can send me a direct message there, like an email. Yeah, I definitely want to get connected with people. Other than that, I'm gonna sign out. I think that's it. All right.